أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Shaitan is our enemy. You have this base knowledge, and I have this base knowledge. However, if we had the deep insight to this, people who have the deep insight to this actually go actively against his plans. Instead of just having the insight, okay, Shaitan's my enemy, whatever, they actively go against the plans that he ensues on them. And they actively, throughout their day, throughout the month, throughout the year, every moment, they understand what Shaitan is trying to get them to do. And the Sahabas, who in Muslim amelioration, as you as a young Muslim man, we try to replicate, they understood this as well. They understood that Shaitan was the enemy and that he would try to take them down from every avenue. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He says in the Quran. The Sahabas were actively fighting against the notions that Shaitan was putting on them. And they were actively fighting against all the other forces that were present inside their brain that took them away from the purpose. Their purpose was to attain Jannatul Firdaus and to get as many people as they could there through Islam. This is important because Shaitan is one of, if not the biggest obstacle in spiritual improvement. Think about it. When you go listen to a talk or when you get motivation to practice something that's good for you, whether it's in Muslim amelioration or out, whether you get the idea to pray your salah or to have more iman or whatever it is, or to go to the gym or to start reading that book, doing something productive, doing hard work, what happens? Something inside you is stopping you. And if it was you stopping yourself, you would be able to unstop yourself, if that makes sense. But in reality, it isn't just yourself. It's Shaitan. And I know that's like so obvious. It seems somewhat obvious to you, maybe, that I'm just saying it like, oh, it's Shaitan. Okay, what's the point? But that is the point. Shaitan is the ultimate enemy. What that means isn't just that he is going to take us down, but he is going to overanalyze us. That he has been around literally since the inception of humans on this earth. He obviously knows that our plays, and he obviously knows our tricks against him as well. This isn't just a regular scenario of good versus evil. He's the ultimate evil. He has tactics. He has things that he deploy against the forces that go against him. This isn't just one thing. This is a war, a battle that is being fought not only inside your mind, but physically in this world actually. And this is a battle that even prophets themselves, like our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was a battle that they fought against him for their people. And obviously the reason he does this is because he wants us not to get to Jannah, where we actually belong. Boy, would we be at a very better place. You would be at a better place. I would be at a better place. Both in all aspects, financially, economically, politically. We would be in a much better place that in this world we have been stripped out because of him. This should get you angry, bro. Like, this should like click something in you that, wow, like this enemy has been doing this for a long time and I've not even been aware. It's utterly amazing how he goes a step further in everything he does. Thus, we need to get a step further as well. This video is going to be a video that inshallah will help you actually be getting more aware of this enemy, so that you can then act upon the things and see his patterns, that you can then actually go against him. When you don't want to pray your salah, it's not you that doesn't want to pray your salah. It's Shaitan that doesn't want you to pray your salah. Thus, he influenced you not to pray your salah. This will give you that awareness that you will actually truly recognize yourself and the forces that are in your mind, like Shaitan. Because at the end of the day, if we don't understand our enemy, we can never ever, bro, we can never go against him. First off, let's break the video down into two parts. One is the inside your head and outside of your head, i.e. the ways he influences you inside and the way he influences you outside of yourself. First, let's go into the inside. Shaitan, obviously you may have this base knowledge, but Shaitan has a place inside our head, which is the jinn or the qabiluhu that he implements inside our head from birth, that then whispers thoughts of different things to try and get us away from Jannatul Firdaus. These thoughts come in a whole bunch of different varieties. Some are hopelessness, and some, surprisingly, are hope. Like literally, it's so interesting. Shaitan will sometimes deploy thoughts of hopelessness. Like, yeah, you need to kill yourself, you need to do all these different things. And sometimes he will implement thoughts of hope. Like, wow, this is so great, or oh my God, I love this. And he does that in different contexts. So what you need to understand is that Shaitan doesn't necessarily have one type of thought that he puts on everyone. He doesn't necessarily have one thing that he does and one thing that he doesn't. Rather, he has one ultimate motive, and the way he does that is contextual and changes from each person at each times. It's dependent, and it's a dependent variable on everything else and other variables, all to get you to the one thing, which is not get to Jannah. Sometimes he will post thoughts of happiness. Sometimes he will post thoughts of sadness. Sometimes he will diminish your confidence, or sometimes he will give you too much confidence that it becomes ego. Sometimes he will make you feel like the world is ending, and sometimes he will make you feel like the world is just starting. Please place this in your mind that he is changing. He will change when you change. He's not going to stand still when you actively take actions that goes against him. So how do we then become aware? And this differs between person to person. What you have to understand is every person has a different methodology being implemented on them by Shaitan. So the way that you do that is you can't necessarily I can't necessarily give you a step by step. This is what he's going to tell you. This is what he's going to tell you. Instead, what I could do is help you and tell you how you can see the steps that he himself is taking. This was taught to me by a scholar, and I then started implementing this in a practice that I call Shaitan scripting. Basically, a scholar gave me insight that the way that he does himself, trying to differ between the thoughts that are him and the thoughts that are from Shaitan, is by muraqabah and muhasabah, which means reflecting and also like judging yourself, holding yourself accountable. He basically says that he judges thoughts, all of the thoughts that are in his brain. He judges them and critically analyzes them to see why did they happen. This is a practice that I then started doing on paper that I call Shaitan scripting. Now, I'm going to link the video there because the entire full guide is around 30 minutes that I've made on YouTube. Basically, in brief, for the people that are still here and that won't watch that video, you basically carry around two journals, one big journal and one small journal. The small journal, its intent and purpose is for you to have in your pocket that you can then recognize the thoughts instantly and then write it down. Then there's the big journal, which basically compiles all the thoughts that you wrote down on the small journal. Then it puts it into a big journal where you then draw out the plan that he is trying to implement in your mind, and then you draw another plan that goes against what he is trying to do. I gave multiple examples in that video, but I'll give some examples in this video just for everyone else. Basically, let's say you are a Muslim man and you're struggling to have any discipline. Thoughts of laziness are trying to be implemented onto you by Shaitan, i.e., let's say you get the thought to go to the gym, right? Shaitan will then deploy a thought of laziness, like, oh, you can do it tomorrow. In that moment, the critical key here is awareness. Being aware that that thought of laziness was from Shaitan. And that will also be discussed later in this video on how you can do that and everything. But in that moment, you write it down on the small journal and realize like, okay, wait, that's from Shaitan. And you write it down word for word in the best way you can describe it. Whether it's just a feeling, like it could be a feeling too. Sometimes Shaitan will like to make us feel depressed, like, oh, you can't do this, or oh, you have to kill yourself, or oh, this, that, right? Sometimes it can be a feeling. In that case, you still write it down. Anyway, after you write down all the thoughts throughout the day on the small journal, it could be multiple thoughts, it could be just one page, it could be 5 pages. Then on the big journal, you're going to write down all the thoughts on the side, and then you are going to draw a flow chart to the intentions that he had on why he did those thoughts. If you want to learn more on what Shaitan scripting is, I recommend you check out that video there. I really don't like promoting too many things during my videos. However, unless they are really beneficial and they take a lot more to explain than just the base. And so for those who really want to improve and really want to get Shaitan aware inside their mind, please watch that video. So that's the way that you counteract the literal thoughts. Now, how do you become aware of those notions? The best way that I have seen so far is meditation. It's meditation on specifically your thoughts. What you're going to do is you're going to sit in a room, okay? And you're going to close your eyes, and your only goal is to be aware of the thoughts inside your mind. Now, again, obviously, everyone has different thoughts, so I can't give you a step by step, but I'm going to teach you how you can be aware of the thoughts in that state. Basically, what you're trying to look for is different thoughts. You're not trying to judge them, you're not trying to take account on them. You're trying to see what those thoughts are and where they came from. One common example of thought awareness is something called the thought spiral. Sometimes what will happen is you'll start thinking about, let's say, a chore. Then you're going to start thinking about vacuuming. Then you're going to start thinking about the vacuum. Then you're going to start thinking about the parts of the vacuum, the mechanics involved. Then you're going to start thinking about something else that's spinny, like the roller of the vacuum. What happens is a thought spiral where your brain naturally tends to look for patterns and then go down those patterns and analyze those patterns. That's one common example. This happens also for like something like depressing thoughts. It doesn't just have to happen for literal things like vacuums. It can happen for like hopeless thoughts. For example, oh, I want to kill myself. Oh, life feels so bad. Why does life feel so bad? Because I'm not doing this. Why am I not doing this? Because of this. And then it just spirals into a thought pattern of negativity. Now, obviously, you're not going to become fully aware of all the thoughts that are coming inside your brain day one. No, you're going to have to do this. At least what I would recommend is 10 minutes a day. Just sit down and just try and trace back thoughts inside your mind. What will happen is you will realize a differentiation between your thoughts and yourself. See, this is another key critical insight in order to take down Shaitan. Your thoughts are not you. You and your thoughts are different. You are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are not you. Meaning, when you get the thought to kill yourself, that's not you wanting to kill yourself. That's not you thinking, I want to kill yourself. You're observing inside your brain the perception of the thought of you wanting to kill yourself, and you're describing that in your brain. Meaning you're the one observing and analyzing the thoughts that you have. The way I like to think of it is, let's say you're a traveler inside your mind. This mind that you have, you're a traveler, and you're observing the world, the different landscapes, the different people. And thoughts, in this case, think of them as people. Different people coming up to you, offering things to you. You can interact with these people. You can ignore them. You can analyze them. So the whole goal of this period of time, for 10 minutes a day, just sitting down and analyzing your thoughts, is to look at these people and ask, where did they come from? What you'll quickly realize is that there's another force deploying these people to come to you, which is Shaitan. So this key point in time, the 10 minutes a day meditation, will not only allow you to be aware of the thoughts, then Shaitan scripting will take those thoughts from inside your mind and literally put them on physical paper so that you can then analyze where they come from and why they came there. So you know the what, the why, and the how to all the thoughts that are in your mind and Shaitan who deployed them. This way you'll have an actual plan on what to do and how to counteract Shaitan. So that's inside your mind. Now let's go into the outside of your mind. How can you become aware of the outside forces of Shaitan? And then lastly, how can you connect the both? How can you realize what Shaitan deploys outside of your mind and then realize how does that affect yourself inside your mind, so that you can then have a total plan on how to just negate Shaitan's plans in general. So let's talk about basically the physical aspect of Shaitan, meaning the literal physical aspect and how he interacts with the world that we are in. Alhamdulillah, I've had the blessed opportunity to be in the presence of scholars, and one of the scholars that I'm really close with, alhamdulillah, he told me that when he was studying Islam, one of his teachers who he was studying from literally said to him that every year, every point in time, Shaitan meets up with the powerful people and the world leaders of this world to discuss how they can get people to get to Jahannam. Shaitan knows Islam as a truth. Why do you think many of these Muslim countries are being targeted? Why do you think the US wanted to specifically target Muslim countries and try and take them down in war? Why do you think the secularization of Muslims is being pushed not only by Shaitan, but literally by the Muslims themselves, obviously to get us away from Jannah, the ultimate goal, because Shaitan knows that after death we will go somewhere, and he doesn't want us that somewhere to be Jannah. Obviously you had this base knowledge, but just reaffirming that, because now that has to translate outside into your observances. How you realize what is happening in the world and why it's happening truly, you have to ask yourself this question: is this happening to take me away from Jannah? If you ask yourself this with many of the world stuff that's happening and going on, you'll start to realize a pattern. These wars against the Muslims, they want to take the Muslims down their morale. Mentally, the enslavement of humanity. He wants us to be enslaved to him and not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Physically, we become weak. Like the average person is a lot weaker. The enslavement physically to Shaitan, and socially, the way that the way the financial world is, riba, interest, all of the things that society runs on, most of it is from Shaitan, and most of it, he's at the very tip top. While everyone, not just Muslims, not just you as a young Muslim man, but everyone. Now there's another video that I made on Shaitan right here. But basically in that video I mentioned that Shaitan wants to try and replicate Allah to the best of his ability, like in the opposite way. Shaitan wants us to worship him and make him the ilah, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he does that through the systems that he has implemented inside this world. In order for you to see the patterns, you need to ask yourself, with all of these different things that are going on, is Shaitan at play? Because Shaitan doesn't want us to get to Jannah, so is this event trying to take me away from Jannah? Is this event targeting Islam and Muslims in general? If you ask yourself this question, secularization of Muslims, different world events that have happened, all of them will shed light to who is actually behind them. Shaitan wants sin to prevail inside the world. So when you see sin, it's easy to just look at the sin and be like, oh, astaghfirullah, whatever. But try and chase it back to Shaitan. Like, for example, why are women not dressing properly? This notion that women should have themselves open for everyone to see. Where did that come from? Okay, the feminism movement. Where did that come from? Dig deeper. See the patterns that are prevalent in today's world and why they are there. Now, if you're a young Muslim man still watching this video, I want to propose to you a way that we can go against what Shaitan wants from us from every angle. Spiritually, mentally, physically, and socially. And also quit the bad habits that we have, that Shaitan has constantly reinforced onto us that we have to do. That being Muslim amelioration. To get to the level of the Sahabas, how they counteracted Shaitan spiritually, mentally, physically, and socially. And they were the best in these four aspects. If you're a young Muslim man, I know everyone says it, but this isn't every channel. This is not an entertainment channel or a fake progress channel. This is an actually beneficial channel that will give you insight on how you can counteract Shaitan. So if you are interested in this type of content that will then actually provoke action, and that will tell you of actions that you can do, that will then really take you onto account to do those actions. If you're still interested on trying to become more aware of Shaitan, please do watch the 2 videos that I have also posted on him, as that will give you more insight to who Shaitan actually is as a person, his backstory, as well as Shaitan scripting that one video, a true full in-depth guide on how to properly and go through with trying to become aware of him. That will help you get to Jannah and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I recommend you subscribe and like this video. And with that, Allah knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.